Welcome to my channel. I'm Gary Wiryawan and today is another everyday photography vlog. If you wanna watch the other everyday photography vlog, I will put the link up here. But basically today my objective is to learn more about macro lens. So today I will be exploring a new lens provided by Meike called the Meike 60mm f2.8 macro lens for micro photos. I'm going to use that lens a lot today and I'm going to try to learn how to focus using that lens, how to compose using that lens for photographing small macro objects. So it's going to be fun. Enjoy today's video. So all the gear today is as usual my GX85 and the lens will be the Meike 60mm f2.8. Alright, let's continue with today's video. Alright, so first composition of the day, I'm going to try to take a picture of these buildings right here with the forest behind as sort of the background. Bear in mind with me because I'm not using my usual microphone setup with the DJI Pocket 2. The microphone is currently out of battery. I think that's my mistake for not charging it last night. But yeah, we're just gonna try to do it anyway. I hope the audio quality is not so bad. So as I mentioned, I'm using a new lens right here. This is the Meike 60mm f2.8. This is basically a macro lens as I mentioned, but I'm going to try to use it as sort of a usual telephoto lens because I think it is more than good enough. It's f2.8, but I'm going to try to switch to other apertures as well, just try to see how can I get this lens to perform as I want it to be. Maybe I'll try to go to f5.6 for this particular composition. We don't really need that depth of field anyway. So yeah, let's try to take the picture. Keep in mind that this is manual focus only lens, so it's going to be a little bit challenging today. So this is the composition that I have in mind. A little bit of the foreground of this plant right here in front, and then the buildings. I love how they become like layered, being stacked together, and then the forest as sort of the background. Now let's try to focus on just the building. So let's go ahead and punch in, and I'm going to try to focus slowly until everything is in focus, something like this. I think I don't want to use the plants because it's just too distracting, so I'm just going to try to focus on just the building. Let's try to make sure that the focus is correct one more time. Yeah, with the punch in and also the picking and whatnot, it really helps with the manual focus with the GX85. Alright, I'm going to try to switch to electronic shutter. It doesn't have any benefit. I just want to prolong the shutter life of this particular camera. Yep, I'm shooting at aperture priority. This is f5.6 again, by the way. Everything else is automatic and I'm shooting raw as usual, so I will post-process all of these images in Lightroom as usual. Something like this, kind of like the composition. Let's try to go a little bit to the left, and then I'm going to try to focus more on the buildings on the right. I'm going to try to manual focus again, try to punch in and get the right focus. Something like this. I hope you can see what I'm doing on the camera. Something like this. Let's try vertical. I think makes more sense. I always love vertical composition, as you know from my other vlogs. Something like this so I can get the tree without being cropped. Something like this. Let's try one more time. A little bit to the left, so it makes a little bit of a leading line into the trees on the left. I think it's kind of cool. Yep. Alright, so for the next composition, I'm thinking of trying to take a close-up picture of these flowers right here. Since this is a macro lens, it's very appropriate to do this kind of photography. I'm going to try to focus as close as I can. So the closest focusing distance is about that. So I'm going to try to get in really close and see what this lens is capable of. So the way I'm doing this with the lens is that I'm setting the focus like very set like that. I'm not going to change the focus distance. Instead, I'm going to try to move the camera forward and backward until I found the sharpest kind of picture right there. Maybe something like this. Let's try. Wow, it's very detailed. Alright, I'm going to try with this particular flower right here. Alright, something like this. I think it's kind of the sharpest. It's very challenging without tripod and with the wind blowing, without autofocus. Going to try to take multiple pictures. Alright, let's check first. Is it in focus? maybe not. So I'm going to try to stop down to about f5.6. This is still aperture priority, so alright, where's that flower? It's kind of difficult at this focal length. Alright, I'm going to... Alright, maybe I'll get it, maybe not. I'm going to try to take a few pictures and just select the one that's in focus and sharpest. Alright, so I found this group of birds right here that I want to try to take a picture of. So the one on the yellow looks very interesting. I'm going to try to take a picture of that guy. With manual focus it's a little bit challenging, so I'm going to punch in and try to focus on the eyes. I think I got it. This is f2.8, but I want to try to experiment until I get the sharpest. Alright, something like this. The punch in really helps to nail the focus. Something like this. Let's try the blue one. We have to adjust the focus again. The other guy is very playful, but this one is very calm and just not doing anything. Oh, that's cute. They're sharing food or something. Oh, it's flying. Alright, so I found this little plants right here. I think this will make a great composition for macro lens like the 60mm that I have right here. So I'm going to pre-focus for the closest focusing distance, and I'm going to try to just move around the camera and the lens until I found the little flowers there in focus. Something like this. With the articulating screen it really helps. I just wish that it's fully articulating, not just vertically articulating like right now. Alright, let's move the camera a little bit until they're all in focus. Something like this. With the wind it's just very challenging. You have to wait until the wind dies. Otherwise this is impossible with this focal length. I think 60mm gives me a lot of challenge because it's not really the focal length that I'm used with. It's not really tele, but it's also not wide, so it's a little bit difficult. Let's try to stop down to about f5.6 because this is very challenging. With f2.8 it's very thin depth of focus, so stopping down should help. Alright, so I'm trying to take another macro picture of these small flowers like here that looks almost like lavender or lupin like the ones in New Zealand. Again, I'm still using the same lens, 60mm. I'm switching to f5.6 aperture priority, and I set the focus to be as close as possible, the closest focusing distance. And rather than trying to manipulate the focusing ring, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to move the camera back and forth until I found the sharpest picture of this small flower right here. I'm going to focus on one of these little petals right here. Hopefully it'll work. Alright, let's try. Maybe I will try to use the punch in focus. Something like this. I'm crouching very low right now. It's actually hurting my back. But yeah, that's the kind of things that you have to do to get that perfect shot. Right, I think I got it almost like in focus. Like so. There's not much wind right now. It's a perfect opportunity to try to grab this kind of pictures. Alright, another macro picture of this small yellow flower right here. I'm pointing it with my finger, still with the 60mm. Still the same technique. I'm trying to move the camera back and forth while keeping the focus ring at its closest focusing distance. Something like this. This is f5.6 aperture priority, so I don't have to tinker with the settings. Electronic shutter, trying to reduce vibration as little as possible. I hope I got it in focus, but this is very challenging. 60mm is not really easy. I think this is one of the hardest lenses that I ever used, but it's very rewarding because of the challenge. I'm actually really enjoying the process of trying to get the things in focus right now, and I think that's all that matters when it comes to photography. Enjoying the process, not just about the end result. And that wraps up today's video. So that is all for today's video. I hope that you enjoy today's exploration of using macro lenses. I hope you can learn something from today's video, and hopefully it's also inspiring for you to go out and try to take some pictures as well. Please comment down below what do you think of today's video, of the pictures, and if you have any suggestions, also comment down below as well. Also, don't forget to support my channel by liking this video, sharing this video, and subscribing to my channel down below. And if you want to support my channel even further, you can use the affiliate links down below or use the super thanks button. Thank you and see you on the next video.